The group of mountain climbers had accidentally reached a range from which no one had ever returned, disappearing under mysterious circumstances. The place was filled with deadly hunters and wild animals that didn't even spare human bones. The story begins with a vast mountain range, where we see Rob, a mountain climber trying to reach the summit with his friends. Down below, his two teammates, Allison and Ed, are shown exhausted after climbing for so long. Rob keeps calling down to them, assuring them that the path ahead is completely safe and they'll reach the top easily. Hearing this, Allison and Ed relax a little and even start taking photos of each other. But Rob continues giving instructions, telling them they're only a short distance away from the summit. When Rob climbs a bit higher, he assumes the others are following him, so he starts pulling up the support ropes. Unfortunately, Ed's foot gets caught in one of the ropes, throwing him off balance and causing both him and Allison to slip and fall. Luckily, their safety ropes stop them from plummeting down the mountain. Rob hears the commotion and quickly climbs down to help. Allison is okay, but Ed is hanging upside down, just one wrong move away from disaster. Rob reaches them using another rope and gets both of them into a stable position. After the incident, none of them stop to rest, they just keep climbing until they finally reach the top and breathe a sigh of relief. They had no idea that even the smallest mistake on this simple climb could have cost them their lives. Once they finish their task, they begin preparing to descend. It's also revealed that Rob and Ed never really got along, despite years of climbing together, because of some unspoken issue between them. Poor Allison is always stuck in the middle of their arguments. Somehow, they managed to climb down the mountain and headed toward a farmhouse where two of their friends, Alex and Jenny, were already staying. Alex and Jenny were a married couple and old friends of Rob, who had arranged for everyone to stay there for a few days. The area was known for its massive mountain ranges, including one particularly infamous peak. No one who had climbed it had ever returned. After reaching Alex and Jenny's place, Rob introduced Ed to them. They welcomed everyone warmly and told them their rooms were ready. Allison went in first to check her room, while Rob and Ed continued their usual bickering, never missing a chance to roast each other. Eventually, they all went inside to freshen up. But Ed complained that the house felt suffocating and that a strange smell was coming from outside. Rob tried to open a window, only to find it locked from the outside, so he went around opening all the windows in the house. Night slowly fell, and as the temperature dropped, they finished dinner and started playing games. They were drinking too, since Rob loved alcohol. Everyone else had stepped back, but Alex and Ed were locked in their own battle, a card game with a lot of money on the line. Their intense competition drew everyone's attention. Alex revealed his hand first with a set of kings, assuming he had won and pulling the money toward himself. But Ed played a new move, revealing queens and technically winning the game. Everyone was shocked, knowing Alex now owed him a hefty amount. But Alex handed him only a small portion of the money and walked off. If Alex had won, he would have taken every dollar from Ed without hesitation. Ed and the others were irritated, but Alex went to his room with Jenny, and the two enjoyed their time together while the remaining three friends sat outside talking. Rob and Allison reminded Ed that it was just a game and that Alex was known to cheat in almost every match. Ed eventually let it go. Their attention then shifted to a photo of a snow-covered mountain, the same legendary peak they had heard so many stories about. It was extremely famous on social media. Even though it wasn't the tallest mountain in the world, it was known for one chilling fact: no climber had ever made it back alive. People said if someone fell from that height, it would take minutes to reach the ground, giving an idea of how extreme the height and temperature were. The thought began to spark in all three of their minds: they wanted to climb that mountain and set a new world record. They had no idea how any of this was possible or what dangers awaited them on that mountain, but as experienced climbers, the three of them decided to prepare the next morning. They were determined to explore that unknown peak. At sunrise, everyone gathered their gear to head toward the mountain, known as Devil Cliff. With a name like that, they should have realized how deadly it could be, but all of them had already made up their minds. Alex and Jenny packed plenty of snacks for the journey so they wouldn't run into any food problems. Soon, the whole group began moving through the forest trail toward Devil Cliff. Alex and Jenny were excited to join the adventure as well. After several hours of traveling, they stopped in a clearing to rest, enjoying the snacks Jenny had made and having a good time. But moments later, their peaceful break took a frightening turn. When Ed tasted the snacks, he didn't like them, he hated fish, and began complaining about the food. Alex got annoyed since his wife had made them with love, and snapped at Ed, saying he wouldn't get any snacks and should eat whatever he brought for himself. Ed wasn't a child, he didn't tolerate the insult and stormed off. The others tried to calm him down, but he was already angry. While they continued eating, Ed wandered deeper into the forest, where he suddenly heard strange noises echoing through the area, sounds that definitely weren't from an animal. Alarmed, he called out to his friends, asking someone to check it out. Rob brushed it off, thinking Ed was just messing around, but Allison didn't ignore it and went to him. Ed pointed toward the direction of the sound, and Allison heard it too. She assumed it was a wild animal, but as they got closer, they realized it sounded like a child. The rest of the group quickly joined them, and they all heard it clearly. Following the noise to a flat patch of land, they discovered a small pipe sticking out of the ground, and a little girl's voice was coming from inside it. Shocked, they realized a child might have been trapped underground. Rob and Ed rushed over with their gear and began digging frantically to rescue her. Alex stood nearby with a wooden stick, ready in case something went wrong. After digging for a while, they uncovered a wooden hatch. When they opened it, they found a small girl inside, terrified and shaking. No one could understand who would be cruel enough to imprison a child like this. They first focused on pulling the terrified little girl out. Anyone who reached their hand into the hole was getting bitten, so Jenny climbed down herself and gently comforted the child, telling her they weren't enemies and were there to save her. The girl slowly calmed down, and they lifted her out as quickly as they could. No one understood who had trapped her there, but one thing was clear: the person hadn't intended to kill her. If that were the case, they wouldn't have left a pipe for air. Jenny insisted the girl would go with them now. She was their responsibility, and they had to get her to safety. Rob, Ed, and Alex started planning how to leave before whoever imprisoned her returned. Rob pulled out a map and pointed out that there was a village several kilometers away, where they might find help. Alex suggested calling a rescue team, but Rob and Ed explained that there was no network signal in the area, making phones useless. They might get a signal only once they reached the village. The problem was the distance, and now they had a child to protect. Rob then mentioned another route, a shortcut that was much shorter, but it passed straight through Devil's Cliffs, the very same cliffs they'd heard terrifying stories about. Rob didn't care about the danger. He only wanted to confirm whether the path was safe. If it was, he would leave markings for the others to follow, or, if he reached the village, he could bring help directly. But Jenny argued that they couldn't take the child over such dangerous cliffs. After thinking it over, Rob and Allison decided they would go ahead and check the route while the others moved slowly forward with the girl. Allison didn't want to go after the previous climbing incident. She was still shaken, but she knew she had no choice. So Rob and Allison agreed to climb the cliffs and find help as quickly as possible. The rest of the group would continue moving carefully through the forest. Rob and Allison grabbed their gear and followed the forest path toward the cliffs. There were several steep drops they needed to descend using ropes. They quickly secured their cables and began climbing down the massive cliffs, unaware of what dangers waited for them ahead, or who had kidnapped the little girl in the first place. Everything was about to unfold in an instant, starting with Allison as she attempted to scale down the towering rocks. Rob was at the top, holding the ropes and encouraging Allison to keep going, telling her she could do it. But she was terrified. The cliffs were nearly vertical, and one mistake could kill them, especially with the massive rocks below. Allison kept descending, but eventually reached a point where she couldn't move any further. When Rob realized she was stuck, he decided to climb down to help her. He secured his ropes and began lowering himself, but suddenly the rope snapped. Without support, Rob fell straight down from a deadly height. Allison watched helplessly as her friend plunged toward the rocks. She heard one final sound when he hit the ground, then everything went silent. When she looked down, she saw Rob's lifeless body. The horror left her frozen. She had no rope left and would have to climb down with her bare hands. She couldn't even begin to imagine how she would break this news to the others. They had climbed countless mountains together. How could he fall on one that wasn't even that high? Meanwhile, Ed, Alex, and Jenny were moving through the forest with the little girl, Anna, unaware that their friend was dead. Their only focus was keeping Anna safe. They finally decided they had no choice but to follow Rob and Allison toward Devil's Cliffs. But suddenly, Anna tried to run. Ed and Alex caught her quickly while Jenny comforted her. The child was terrified of everyone and needed reassurance. Jenny thought the plan was risky, but staying in one place was even more dangerous, so they continued moving. Back on the cliffs, Allison was still struggling to climb down without a rope. When her foot slipped, she pushed herself away from the rock face to avoid hitting sharp edges and fell through branches before landing in a small pond. Luckily, she wasn't seriously hurt and managed to swim to the edge before collapsing from exhaustion. In her unconscious state, she had a vision of being trapped inside a small wooden chamber, the exact kind Anna had been locked in. She screamed for help through a pipe just like the girl had, but no one came. The vision kept repeating until she finally woke up beside Rob's dead body. Overwhelmed with grief, she started crying, but then she noticed the rope near him. It hadn't broken, it had been cut. A terrifying question hits Allison. Who could have done this? No one else was up there except the two of them. She realizes something is very wrong, so she tries to make her way back to her friends. Meanwhile, Ed, Alex, and Jenny continue moving forward with little Anna, unaware that danger is closing in. From a distant cliff, two men watch them through a sniper scope. It becomes clear these are the hunters who had imprisoned Anna earlier. They discuss shooting the group immediately, but the distance is too great and the echo could expose them, so they wait for a better moment. Suddenly, two other local men arrive carrying shotguns. They question the hunters, pointing out that hunting season is over and that nobody uses such a powerful sniper rifle just to kill animals. The hunters admit they're not here for animals, they're on a mission. The locals immediately grow suspicious and attack one of the hunters, killing him on the spot. The second hunter is pushed off the cliff, almost certainly falling to his death. The locals take the sniper rifle and leave, their intentions unknown. Meanwhile, Allison continues running through the forest, desperate to reach her friends. She now knows someone out there wants them dead. At the same time, a car speeds down a nearby road carrying three men, Andy, Dark, and another unnamed man. They've been hired by Anna's father to find her and bring her home safely. Eventually, a terrified and exhausted Allison reaches her friends. They're resting on the opposite side of a river. She tries to warn them and explain the truth, but the roar of the river drowns out her voice. So she signals them to meet her further along the path. When they ask about Rob, noticing he isn't with her, she signals the heartbreaking truth: he's dead. Shock hits the group. How could such an experienced climber like Rob die? As Anna looks across the river, blood suddenly splatters across her face. A gunshot echoes. The bullet hits Jenny directly in the head, killing her instantly as she collapses into the water, dragging Anna with her. The strong current sweeps both of them downstream. Chaos erupts as more gunfire rains down from above. Two snipers, those same men who killed the hunters, are positioned in the cliffs and firing relentlessly at the group. Ed and Alex run for their lives, knowing even a single mistake could get them killed. Allison was also being shot at nonstop, but she kept dodging and trying to reach Anna. One bullet hit right beside her, knocking her into the water. Alex and Ed tried to save Jenny, but her lifeless body kept sinking deeper and deeper. There was no doubt she was already gone. The two snipers showed no mercy and fired at anything that moved. Ed and Alex barely escaped and ran deep into the forest to save their lives. Meanwhile, Allison, still in the river, held onto Anna, but a small waterfall appeared ahead. After falling over it, everyone was separated. Anna was nowhere to be seen, and panic washed over Allison. She dove underwater again and again searching for her. Suddenly, she saw Jenny's dead body drifting helplessly, something more horrifying than anything she had ever witnessed. Fighting her fear, she dove back down and finally found Anna, pulling her up to the surface. She worked desperately to revive her because Anna was seconds away from dying. In situations like this, when someone has drowned and isn't breathing after being pulled out, it's a critical emergency. If no action is taken, the person can die within minutes. The first step is to check if the person is breathing. Look for chest movement and any sign of airflow. If there's no breathing, you must begin CPR. CPR is something everyone should know. Place both hands together in the proper position, right in the center of the chest, not left or right. Start pushing firmly, at a rate of 100 to 120 compressions per minute, pressing down about 5 to 6 centimeters. Good compressions help force water out of the lungs. Once even a little bit of air starts moving again, the water will begin to clear out. When the person starts regaining consciousness, turn them slightly to the side so they can vomit or expel water easily. If compressions alone aren't enough, the next step is mouth-to-mouth rescue breaths. Pinch the person's nose, seal your mouth over theirs, and blow air twice, each breath lasting 1 second, making sure the chest rises properly. Combine both methods, fast chest compressions and 2 rescue breaths, and repeat them continuously. This gives almost anyone a chance to survive. Using this exact method, Allison managed to save Anna and started moving her to safety. But the two snipers behind them were still firing. Allison narrowly avoided the bullets and pushed Anna upward toward the forest so she could climb to safety. The sniper's ammo finally ran out, so they paused to reload and even motioned for Allison to run while she still had a chance. They signaled to Allison that she still had a chance to escape. She hurried back to her remaining friends while little Anna hid behind a large rock, trembling with fear. All of their lives were in extreme danger now. Allison and Alex met up and immediately wondered where Ed and Anna had gone. Anna, still crouched behind the rock, had no idea how she would survive, especially with a hunter approaching with his gun raised. Just then, Ed arrived and quietly grabbed Anna to guide her away. But a bird nearby suddenly took flight, making noise and exposing their location to the hunter. He began firing at them and alerted his partner as well. Ed scooped Anna into his arms and sprinted as fast as he could. Thankfully, the thick forest trees blocked many of the bullets. Somehow, Ed managed to get downhill with Anna, but they both tumbled down a steep slope. Anna was badly hurt, and Ed suffered severe injuries too. His head slammed into a tree and his leg broke. Despite the pain, he never let go of Anna. After struggling forward, he finally reached Allison and Alex. Allison was relieved to see Anna alive. But their relief vanished when they saw the two hunters closing in. They needed to escape immediately. Alex pointed out that Ed's leg was badly injured, and he couldn't move quickly enough to keep up. Realizing this, Alex decided on a risky plan. He would run with something that looked like Anna to lure the hunters away, giving the others a chance to escape. To fool them, he grabbed some of Anna's clothing and ran. The hunters assumed he had Anna and opened fire. Even after being shot, Alex kept pushing forward, refusing to stop, but repeated gunshots eventually brought him down, killing him. When the hunters reached his body, they realized they'd been tricked. The others must have escaped in another direction. Furious, they vowed to kill every single one of them. Meanwhile, despite his injuries, Ed managed to help the others climb down the cliffside. Anna was terrified. But Allison calmed Anna and helped her climb down safely. The three of them finally reached a safer spot and took a moment to rest. At one point, Ed wondered if bringing the girl with them had been a mistake, because now their own lives were in danger because of her. But Allison firmly said that no matter what happens, they cannot leave this girl to die. They had to keep moving toward the town. Meanwhile, inside the car, the three officers assigned to rescue Anna were also shown discussing the situation. They received a message that two hunters were after her, and Andy and Darko agreed that no matter what, they must protect Anna and eliminate the hunters. After hours of traveling, Ed and Allison finally reached a small village. They found the local police station and reported everything. Only one officer was present, and he tried to call for backup. A festival was going on in the village, and Andy and Darko were also there, waiting for the hunters. Soon, the hunters arrived. One of them approached Darko directly and demanded a large amount of money in exchange for the girl. Darko refused, saying things wouldn't go according to the hunter's terms. The hunter smugly shared a story about how he once kidnapped a boy and demanded ransom, but when the parents tried to trick him with a suitcase full of newspapers instead of money, he killed the boy. Darko realized Anna's life was in even greater danger now. Back in the police station, the lone officer was still keeping them inside, and Ed started to suspect that he might be working with the hunters too. Ed insisted that they should leave immediately, but before the officer returned, Ed had already drawn a knife in self-defense. Suddenly, a bullet shot through the window and hit the officer. One of the hunters was sniping from outside. Chaos erupted as gunfire echoed everywhere, though the loud festival outside masked the sound. Ed grabbed Allison and Anna and escaped through the back door as fast as he could. No matter what, Ed grabs Allison and Anna and escapes through the back trail. But the hunter wearing a pig mask starts chasing them. Soon, he tracks them down and opens fire. Ed is brutally injured and killed on the spot. Poor Allison runs everywhere with Anna begging for help, but no one opens their door. The hunter even enters a house and kills the person living there. Allison keeps trying to push him away, but he reaches Anna and is about to attack her. The whole house has caught fire by now. Seeing a chance, Allison attacks the hunter from behind and throws him down from the upper floor. She finally gets Anna safely out of the burning house, though she herself is extremely weak. Later, it's revealed that rescuers arrive and save Allison. Her friends manage to capture both hunters. It seems like everything will finally be okay. In the forest, we see Anna's father, a powerful gangster, who interrogates and brutally beats the hunters until he gets all the information. Poor Allison is severely injured and taken away for treatment. She cries endlessly, blaming herself because one mistake cost all her friends their lives, and now she wonders how she'll even continue living. And that's where our story ends.